going on, Jerome's? Beautiful Friday. Birds are chirping and stuff. It's time for another Vikings news dump. Speaking of birds, the Dirty Birds, the Atlanta Falcons. You know, I haven't even thought about the 98 title game where I never blamed the Falcons, right? It was more on the Vikings, Denny not going for it late. I don't know. There's just a lot of things messed up. But I don't know how the Vikings defense would have fared against the Broncos in that Super Bowl, but is what it is. Anyways, but yeah, the Falcons coming in. And this is actually from the Falcons social account. It's kind of cold as ice, and I like it. Although I will take Jesse Bates manning up against Jefferson one-on-one all day. I mean, we'll take that, certainly. It's going to be a big-time battle against A.J. Terrell. Bates will be over the top. But I think I'm just going to keep saying until it happens, Jefferson gets a huge game. Jefferson just goes off, gets his, and is good to go. Also good to go is it's Friday, so annual holiday fundraiser season is on. Every dollar donated to the show during the month of December will go towards Salvation Army Twin Cities as well as Toys for Tots. Crush things during November. Food Shelf, you guys are the best for that. This is a third year doing this. All super chats during like the halftime live stream, post-game live stream, as well as Venmos, Cash Apps will go to charity. Also, direct donation links in the description. If you donate directly to Salvation Army or Toys for Tots, shoot us an email. We'll include you in the total, and you guys are just awesome. Love it, man. Also, so the Vikings actually couldn't lose on Thursday night either. The Lions won, and the Packers got knocked down a couple pegs in the wild card race, which helps the Vikings. You know, a little bit of breathing room there. Or the Lions lost, and then the Vikings get back to controlling their own destiny for the NFC North, as well as potentially the 1 seed, but didn't happen. But the thing that stuck out to me about this game is that both of these defenses are absolute frauds. Now the Packers are having issues. I don't want to hear about the Jar injury being a detriment. It's actually a plus for them. Also, I mean, Detroit has legitimate injuries all over the place, man. So, I mean, both these defenses are not playoff ready. Like the Vikings will shred both of these defenses. And the Eagles will shred both these defenses. And I'm going to put it out there. Both of these teams are going to be a one and done, unless they play each other in the first round, which is also certainly possible, right? I pretty confident in that, where all of the bluster, all everything, all Sonic and Knuckles, all Dan Campbell and going for it on fourth down all the time, they simply cannot stop anyone. And you can't win with that in the playoffs, man. So I think the Lions actually are going to lose to the Bills, thankfully, next Sunday. Vikings will get back into things, but of course, it doesn't matter if they don't beat the Falcons or win out, and they'll take care of that. Also something stood out. So Dirty Kirby Joseph just going for kneecaps of another tight end, Tucker Kraft. Respect to Tucker Kraft, the pride of South Dakota State, staying upright. Also getting back up, had a touchdown. It's good to see, man. But with Joseph, I know people say, like, that's how you tackle larger opponents. I don't know. Cooper DeJean was actually able to tackle Derrick Henry pretty good. It's just you have to see what you hit. This is very dangerous, not only for Kraft, but especially for Kirby Joseph. But, you know, I guess Kirby Joseph will just do what he does. Anyways. Also doing what he does, Jonathan Greenard. Absolutely love it, man. NFC Defensive Player of the Month for November. He had 15 tackles, 4 sacks, and a forced fumble. Plus, it's not just racking up sacks. It's when he's had these sacks. Like on the first overtime, the only overtime drive against the Bears, really breaking their momentum, swinging it back towards the Vikings, as well as strip sack on Kyler when they had a chance to kick the game-winning field goal. I mean, Greenard's been dynamite. I love that he got recognition. It's fantastic to see. Also, fantastic to see Vikings injury report. So, actually, well, some good things, right? So Gilmore DNP 2 days in a row. Likely was going to be out without him on Sunday, is what it is. So veteran Fabian Moreau, as well as rookie Dwight Nudie McLaughlin, could be in for some more time. A couple other guys return to limited. Carry on my Jayward son is there. PJ2 AVG. I think that's just more about veteran maintenance. Cashman and Bullard return to full, which is good to see. DePaulo, as well as Will Rackard in their 21-day return to practice window will be good to go on Sunday, as well as Josh Oliver, 2 days of practice full in a row. He will be back, adding some physicality to the Vikings run game. Reisner popped up on the injury report with his back issue, which put him on IR at the beginning of the year. Was limited on Thursday. Don't raise the alarm. If he's limited on Friday, maybe. But as you see, like the Vikings have been very proactive in terms of limiting some guys' work and getting them rest as the season drags on, especially veterans like Dalton Reisner. So, if he's limited or DNP Friday or goes into the game with a designation, then be a little bit worried. But, could be Ed Ingram season, but probably not. I think Reisner will be just fine. Also just fine. Vikes uniform tracker, always on top of these things. Surprise! The Vikings will rock all purple this week against the Falcons. Purple on purple. That's what the Vikings wore earlier in the season against the JETS Jets. Andrew Van Ginkel, looking really good. Now, I don't want to say that this is a troll, but of course the purple on purple is what the Vikings wore during Kirk Cousins' only playoff win with the Vikings. So I don't know if it's an homage. I don't know if it's a troll. I don't know what it is. But either way, I actually like when the Vikings go purple on purple. Looks pretty good, man. Yeah. And I know, Friday news dump, we should be talking about Kurt, except I feel like we've talked about Kurt. I mean, at this point, he was here, sure, but what he is a 36-year-old quarterback coming off an Achilles who's immobile, going to take a lot of sacks as well as throw a lot of interceptable balls and also not clock more than 34, 35 miles an hour in terms of velocity. But other than that, yeah. Also, Brian O'Neill. Brian O'Neill should be an All-Pro. I'm worried that he won't get it because a lot of times All-Pro voting, like the voters don't even watch, right? It just goes on name recognition. So I actually do think that it will be Lane Johnson and it will be Penei Sewell and then Brian O'Neill will get effed. But yeah. Anyways, Vikings communication. Leading the NFC, per Pro Football Focus, tackle Brian O'Neill leads all NFC offensive linemen with an 82.8 pass blocking grade, which is good. Minimum blah, 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 blah. So vote for O'Neill to the Pro Bowl games, except he won't be playing in the Pro Bowl games because he'll be getting ready for the Super Bowl, blah, blah, blah. But O'Neill stepped up this year, man. Like, he's always been very good, but I think that he's turned himself into an elite right tackle. And, once Darisaw gets back, the Vikings will resume having the best tackle do in the National Football League. And also, O'Neill's leadership, too, along the offensive line. Him and Bradbury, keep a pretty tight ship. Bradbury's actually quietly had a decent year. I still want a new center. Anyways, some I don't want new. I don't want a new fullback / special teams captain. C.J. Ham, the pride of Duluth, the pride of the Augustana Vikings. Fantastic on the field. Fantastic off the field. He is the Vikings' Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee. And each year, each team nominates one player, and then they have the overall winner announced during the NFL Honors Super Bowl week. So it honors players that do extremely good work in the community. And there's so many Vikings that could have been worthy of this honor. But CJ's the best, man. CJ, his work in the community, the work that he does, just giving back, and also just like when you give back, there's momentum with it, right? And there are some teams out there where it's almost like pulling teeth. The players just show up and do their thing and blah blah blah, check the box. But these guys would do this if the cameras weren't there. You know what I mean? And plus, a lot of them do work, just said do a lot of charitable endeavors that isn't captured by the team, isn't captured on social media. They're just good. I love CJ Ham. I hope that he wins the overall award, Walter Payton Man of the Year. Be fantastic. Also fantastic. Speaking of giving back. So a lot was made of the shirt that Brian Flores wore at his Tuesday presser, the Andrew Van Ginkel shirt. Loved it. Vikings, these Andrew Van Ginkel shirts will be available for sale at US Bank Stadium this Sunday. Proceeds will go to help Andrew Van Ginkel's flood relief efforts for his hometown of Rock Valley, Iowa. And Land O'Lakes will match to double the donation. So I'm buying one. Well, I got to find me one. Someone who's going to be at the stadium, email producer Allie, and we'll work this out. All right. Also, speaking of working out, slinging Sam Darnold. So he's not Johnny check down. He's not doing that and the other thing. That's going to be on the other sideline this Sunday. But quarterbacks with the most completed air yards head into Week 14. Darnold with 1,789, just behind Joe Burrow with 1,806. Did you guys see that clip of Joe Burrow? He is talking with Higgins and Jamar Chase. And Higgins and Chase, like, they're looking for that first big-time contract, family tree and generational change of money. And then Joe Burrow's like, I just spent $3 million on the Batmobile. So stupid. Yeah, but yeah, slinging Sam Darnold, slinging it downfield, man, and it's really impressive. Also, just the connection that he has with Addison, with Jefferson, that he had with Speedy Naylor, and now maybe doesn't have that anymore. I don't know, but Darnold's looking good, and I'm thinking this is going to be more than a one and done, or probably just going to be a one and done. Vikes fan page, it's going to be very difficult for Minnesota to retain Sam Darnold, who is set to be an unrestricted free agent this season, according to Schultz report. Baker Mayfield's contract, 3 years, $100 million, is the expected value for Darnold this offseason per Schultz. Quote, I think it's very realistic, even if they win the division, that Sam Darnold would walk, and that he would have J.J. McCarthy under the cheap rookie contract, and then you bring back Daniel Jones. And also, Doogie has talked about, too, where Darnold's going to be maxing out on cash. Might not be here. Now, the interesting caveat is that the Vikings do have cap space. Like, if they truly believe that they're in a Super Bowl window and they can win a Super Bowl slinging Sam Darnold, and J.J. McCarthy, love him, but don't let good be the enemy of great. But what if Sam Darnold's great, right? It's a fair question. Yeah, and the things that he's done this year with the weapons and the coaching, he's really panning on that potential. Now, if he takes the Baker Mayfield contract, I would consider giving it to him, right? And what's great, too, is that you could still trade him next offseason. The 2026 quarterback class outside of Archer Manning is still certainly up in the air, so that's not a slam dunk. But Baker, Baker's shown that he's got staying power, but Darnold, Baker's contract is basically a one-year deal, where you have big signing bonus up front. The first year is guaranteed, maybe parts of the second year, but it's very edible if it doesn't work out, right? And you could definitely hedge your bets that way, or have the franchise tag, or a modified one-year deal so you can feather out some of those void year dead cap hits. Don't know. But it's we said this ad nauseum all offseason and into the season. Sam Darnold making this decision difficult is the best possible outcome for the team. Because J.J. McCarthy's still going to be him. But if Darnold proves that he's the guy, Darnold wins you a Super Bowl, what do? You got to pay him, right? Right. But also, I would not be interested in giving him like Jared Goff money. Like, if we're talking about north of $40 million a year, nah. But honestly, if it's the Baker 33.3, that neighborhood, that decision gets tough then. It gets pretty tough. Also tough is the Vikings game day experience. So, been to a couple of Vikings games, but of course, you want us on this wall. You need us on this wall. Like, we're best in studio. But also the Vikings are best in sports, the best show in sports. The Vikings' unique atmosphere at US Bank Stadium helped the organization get recognized as the 2024 Clio Sports Team of the Year, which I'm too lazy to click on the link and read about what Clio is. Call me now. But I assume that it's good. Awesome. But yeah, just the game day experience, and also like I still don't know the wizardry of like that fake snow indoors, but the the fire, the brimstone, the Gallahorn, the running out with the flags and stuff, and just I could feel the vibrations of the Bird Killer Stadium. It's glorious, man. It is really, really good. But that is it. Your thoughts on our thoughts. Speaking of killing birds, Sunday. Going down. Let us know your thoughts, our thoughts, comment section. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skull, production value.